Okay. Hello everyone, this is Daniel and I'm gonna be making this video about the fact that I saw heaven and if you're not if you're wondering about that, well I'll tell you what's going on. I saw it in my spirit, probably like let's just say from my like out of body experience kind of sort of, but not really, but by God. It's not like it's an evil thing, it's more like a God did this to me for kind of thing. So anyway, visions are like that, but this is more like the real heaven as you see it in the Laertarn. So anyway, I'll tell you what heaven looks like. It's constantly changing, and that's what you should know about right now. It's constantly changing, and nature is in half the places, and mansions are in other half the places. And there's this great mountain that is alive. Everything's alive there, and these buildings are alive. Even the trees are alive. They can stay still. They can move. They're just in peace. And this is not New Age. This is actually heaven. But New Age got their idea from heaven, so don't worry about that. So the water's alive. The animals can talk. The trees can talk. The mountains can talk. The the thunders can talk. It talks about in Revelation where the seven thunders or four thunders. I don't know, but the seven thunders actually spoke in the throne room, and even the throne room talked. So then there's the altar that talks. Jesus talks. Everything is intelligent. Everything is spiritual, and moves without too much noise. And the seven thunders talk. It's all cool. And then the Bible says some thunders spoke, but and they uttered something, but you do not want to tell them that because they don't know about this yet. So yeah, it's cool. So I have a lot to say right now, though. I guess even though it's a short span of time, but I do have a lot to say. You know, I was trying to get I was actually there to reference what everything looked like. There was a grave, like a kind of a graveyard for crosses, but they're actually good crosses. They're actually people are saved there, and I was born in that area, so that's cool. And basically, you start from there. You literally start from there, and then there's also the field that you start from there, and then you meet Jesus. That's someone else met that happening, and then obviously these waters and these mansions are quite literally massive. They're like towers of mansions, and it's just old fashioned and new fashioned at the same time, but more old fashioned. Kind of like the Roman towers, but more beautiful, much more beautiful. And they're always in these fields and these forests, and there's also mansions all over the place. There are these mountains that move, and then there's some mansions that are so big that they look like mountains. It's so amazing, actually. And animals are everywhere. And obviously, God has his throne room, so I asked God, I want you to see you. So I exit that dream, or that I exited that one stage of life, and then came back after another term, things like that. And I quite literally saw the same thing, but it was I was in the same area, but it was a much different look, even though everything looked the same, because everything had moved its place since I left. So time is like really long there. I mean, I've been there for a short time, but then after a long span after I left, I came back. And this is talking about me, what I did, not about my pride. Anyway, so yeah, I came back and I saw lots of mansions again, but there were more hills. I was looking for the mountain, but it was not there. Then I came to, the Mount Zion, the hill, things like that. And I was inside of the throne room. It was brilliant with gold and pearl, everything like that. And I thought I saw Jesus, but I was like, well, that can't be. Turns out it was a person like Paul. I think it was Paul too. I don't know who it was, but I believe it was Paul. And I was going to the throne room and to meet him on the throne. He was just sitting there on the throne, and he had a kind of a hair of wool. Like, you can describe his hair of wool. It was pretty much like it was like the most loving characteristic you can ever imagine, but just, I mean, royally beautiful. Like, he looked like a person that could be part of a reserve of nature, but ruling all of nature, He does not look like a ruler of us, but more like a ruler of what it should be like before. So, I don't know. He had like a beard that goes like this, hair kind of like this, but it was all white, like all majestic white, and it was all like a spirit. And it was all like he was basically glowing and shining and beautiful, and his voice was like very much Middle Eastern. I want you to know that his voice was Middle Eastern. I took so I wanted you to note what it all looked like, but like literally, I took what do you call it? Like I took note what everything looked like and everything sounded like. And yeah, I mean, his voice was very Middle Eastern, like it was, you know, like legit, like he came from Israel. And that's the cool part of that. That sounded like he came from Israel. You could just be amazed by his ancient Israeli voice. It's just wow. Excuse me. And what else did I see? I saw the tower of the library. It was very much like it was had that kind of like a flat ceiling, but it was actually carved dome, and it was rounded, and everything was like in the center of it. Just was like library terms, and it was all part of the Book of Life. Actually, the Book of Life itself, it was one large book, probably taller than my room, like legit. I mean, taller than this house, and it had thousands upon thousands of people in that 1 year. That's how many people were in heaven. It had it in 1 year. And if you're wondering about that, well, honestly, you wouldn't believe that. So mom and the doctor as well. I don't think they even had clocks there. Well, someone had a watch, obviously, but I was being born on October 27th, 1989. So it was during late dinner that I was basically at conception. And obviously, it was around midnight. It was after midnight. I think it was just after midnight or a little later that it finally came out. So instead of being born in October 27th, 1989, I was actually born in October 28th, 1989. And even more funny was I was supposedly supposed to be born 10 days earlier. That's what the book said. It was destined that I was supposed to be born a little bit early. But then God saw that I was being a little that God saw that I was a little light, so He decided that I would be born later. So I was born kind of on the correct day, but I was born a little late, and I was born a little light. And what happened was, mommy didn't get enough nutrients for me because I'll mention what the book said. Insane but good. It had a picture of me and what I would say would be like a like like a swimming pool, and I was with a group of people with disabilities, maybe not. And sorry for her. I meant to do that, and this is why I make it for not for kids. She's downstairs. Anyway, she's probably gonna scream. I'm sorry. So this was me in the swimming pool with other people with disabilities. Quite possibly in East Long Meadow. So that's what I figured. Good things like that. Good stuff. So I was it was taking a picture of me in the swimming pool. The day I recovered, things like that. Insane but good. And it had a picture of me, but few people got that chance. I don't know why that is, but obviously it had something to do with something good. Like maybe it had something to do with the fact that I was showing off, the fact that I can just talk to you guys and talk about what true salvation is. I know what true salvation is and my struggles, and just do what God wants me to do, and just know that I'm broken. Just admit that I'm broken. So anyway, something was interesting about that Book of Life cover. It was actually like it's a Book of Life, but there were other books that were just as big or smaller or bigger, things like that. So mine was like maybe medium sized, but those books were huge, and they were 1,000 pages each. So obviously, it has something to do with that. So let me talk about this one for preference. Like there was a lady with an unusual name. Only 3 people named that back in 1989. Obviously, this was actually personal. I don't know, but there's only 3 ladies in that name with that very unique with that unique name. Only 3 ladies, and the kid was looking for her and didn't find her. So obviously, she wasn't reading the Book of Life at that moment, or maybe she isn't. And they get bigger every time. So yeah. So prayers for that lady that she finds salvation and that she finds that this is what she should find and that she doesn't have to be sad all the time. And even better, those kids that were looking at the Book of Life, these kids are looking for the people that basically gave birth to them, basically in heaven, because they were aborted children. These children in heaven are aborted children. And they're the ones looking at the Book of Life. They're the ones recording that. So I'm just gonna let you know about that. There are a lot of children in that book and in that library, so that was very fascinating. So what else? I would say there were like 70,000 names in that book. 70,000 for each page, so 70 million for. Actually, that may have been for the century. I don't know. Who knows? Who really knows but God? Because I would say that there's like 70 million people in that book, just because. Actually, no. The first 100 pages were like legit preferences and how to look up the book in the name of your own soul to those kids, and then there was the 900 pages. So there's probably like 63,000, 63 million people in that book of life. I don't really know. All I know that there were millions of people reading the book of life. And obviously there were 1,000 pages, and 900 pages were for the people, and 100 were for the preference. Maybe less. I don't know. Maybe less, maybe more. So, anyway, like there were many people there, but they were not showing themselves to me right now because they knew it was a dream, and excuse me, they just knew that it was not time for me and all that good stuff, except for the people that were in the throne room, and then the babies that were boarded. They show themselves to me. So obviously, the important people show themselves to me. So that's cool. And quite obviously, some people there would not even recognize heaven the next year or next day, because it would be a lot different than it was today. But it would still be the same place. It would be still the same look, but it would still have the different locations. Actually, that's pretty cool. And your home would be, you would know where you're going, you would know where your home is, you would just have your own calling for your home, and it would be cool. And just a lot of cool places in heaven, that and a lot of really big mansions. Some of them were nice size, and a lot of them were huge. Like those in the background, they were huge. I mean, huge. And some of the mansions beforehand, they were ginormous, like a city size. So that would be mine was like regular mansion, but more in the style of a garden. So mine was regular, but then I had the garden that was huge. And even then, that looks different every time. So that's pretty darn cool. Anyway. And then there was another time I saw myself get rewards. That's a futuristic dream. And there were many rewards, like the royalty crown, which was purple, which there was a rainbow one, which was huge, and there was a green one, which was huge, and then there was a red one, which was huge. Mostly red. Then there was also green ones that were big, and then there were some of them that were big, and many of them were regular size. So that's pretty cool. Then there was a plaque of knowing where the angels came from. It was actually a black and gold plaque, maybe gold letters, but I think it was either gold letters or white letters, maybe its own letters, but it was made out of opal, so I thought it was pretty cool. So anyway, this should I should end the note with, heaven will be a place where you can't even imagine it. Not even today, not even tomorrow. Maybe in heaven you will just know it's going to look like tomorrow, because it's always changing. It's constantly changing. But God is never changing. And He is very organized. Alright, I'll be done now, okay? Bye.